Hello,
Hello, we're back, baby.
us the two of us, like it's supposed to be.
Man, there was a question last week as to whether or not I was going to survive at all, so I'm glad to be here today.
I know that feeling. Oh man, how'd you make out? You were sick. You were throwing up.
Oh, dude, I got freaking wrecked. Just
Man.
absolutely destroyed. Sunday night, Jennifer had it I think on Friday, and then Simon and Amelia got it Saturday through Sunday, and that Sunday was when Amelia threw up and a little bit splashed on my leg, and I was like, I got to cut this leg off.
You were like, you had such the cutest tweet. You were like, oh, I cleaned it up and now I'll be fine. And like, I'm like, dude, it's a dead man walking.
Yeah,
Like, he's
I sprayed it down. And of course, we have a bottle of isopropyl alcohol because
Sure,
we
who
have
doesn't?
kids. And
Yeah.
so I saw it and I was like, all right, here we go. And I just straight onto the skin. I was like, I'm not letting this thing touch me. And then, so that was like, 6:30 when I was putting the kids down. She like totally just threw up everywhere. And then at about 9, I thought, my stomach kind of hurts. This isn't great.
Yeah.
And then 2:00 is when everybody came knocking. And dude, from 2 to I think 9 in the morning, I probably had 7 different visits to the toilet to throw up.
Oh,
And
no.
each time I felt like I was like exercising demons. Like it was coming from the soles of my feet all the way up. Oh my gosh. And Jennifer told me later that she went and slept on the couch after she ensured that I was, living. She's like, I can't listen to that.
Yeah.
She told me later that she called her mom and she's like, so when dad throws up, is it pretty violent? Because Aaron's been pretty violent in his vomits. I was like, oh, it was the absolute worst. I do not wish it upon my worst enemy. Maybe upon my worst enemy, but not upon normal enemies. It was bad.
Did you have stuff coming up though, all of them, or did you get to that point where it was just dry heaving but equally forceful?
No, it's this is a family show, but it got to the point where it was just bile. It was just like stomach acid.
Right.
Yeah. Awful.
Man, yeah, I have to say I had that recently-ish with the gallbladder stuff at the end of the gallbladder stuff, like a month before it got taken out, and before I changed how I was eating so I didn't feel like that. Yeah, I had one of those nights where it was exactly like that, and it was just like, yeah, from your feet up. The kids, my wife was like, this doesn't sound good.
Oh man,
doesn't sound normal. I'm like, I don't know. I like pulled a muscle or something, and like
all my little muscles around my ribs
or something.
Yeah. So bad. Dark night of the soul for sure.
Mine was at least I was done by midnight. Just waking up at 2 to throwing up.
Man,
that's the worst. That's just like you're going to bed. You're like, all right, I'll wake up in the morning and deal with more kids puking. Fine, whatever. Then you get it at 2 a.m. Not good.
Totally wrecked. But good news is you had a great roundtable. Roundtable.
The roundtable was fun. We business dated it up a bit.
You did.
I look back because when you messaged that you were sick, I was like, we haven't even been on the same show. And like, I was like, since like July, we've been on the show twice together, I think.
I know. It's crazy.
So funny. It's been just random.
It's basically been the Caleb Porzio hour since July.
We just let him take over. Whatever.
Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, no, roundtable was fun. It was cool having John on as the new friend of the show and somebody who actually knows the space and talk the WordPress stuff. What's your take on the WordPress stuff?
Well, I want to do take on Statamic stuff before we go on to the clown show.
Give us
I just spoiled my take on WordPress. Shoot.
I'm sure you were yelling at the show, right? You're like, you wanted to get in there while you were throwing up. You're like, if I can get in here.
It was so great. I thought about calling in, but I didn't want to disgust our viewers. I thought Caleb's points at the very end were almost perfect.
Yeah.
So I do think go all in on Laravel. There's nobody that's using Statamic that's not like at least Laravel adjacent.
Right.
And this weird middle ground of like antlers and not blade, but kind of blade.
Stuff is a weird,
It's like just like fully embrace Laravel and make that part a lot easier. So was on board with that. Obviously on board with single SQLite file. Think that's great. Super portable. I think the open question there is like, who does he want to target? Is it developers or end users? Because if it's developers and they're like, oh, I want to write my markdown in, my VS Code, it's like, okay, well that you have to have flat file at that point.
Right.
But I thought, yeah, get away from the flat file. Because I've tried Statamic, and the flat file stuff kind of threw me off, because it is like a proprietary format unto itself. It's got the front matter, which is like all of the attributes, and I'm always looking at them like, what do I put here? And so I don't super love that. The thing I thought Caleb was wrong on, sorry Caleb, and I think he's right, actually, but I think Jack is wrong. I think Jack should do cloud hosting for sure, 100%. And Caleb's point was like, Jack, you don't want to do it, don't do it. So maybe Caleb's wrong by proxy. Jack is wrong. Right. That's what he should do. Right. That's where the money is.
I agree. I think you have to have some kind of story there, even if it's like what we did for a long time, which is just have like a partner who really does it, and like it's just like you slap your name on it, you split the money, whatever, you come up with something like that. But like, I do think in this day and age to not have some type of either first party, or you build out the ecosystem and there's some hosting story, even forget you making money on it directly. It's just even like that there's a place to go that knows how to host this and that has the server set up correctly, and you don't have to deal with that as the customer. I think you would think has to be pretty beneficial.
Yeah, even if Jack's ultimate goal is license sales and Statamic adoption, cloud hosting gets you towards that goal for sure.
Yeah. For sure. That's kind of what I think too. So it also just lends an air of like stability and reliability, and like people are out there actually using this, because there's a hosting thing. If you have your own, that's sort of one thing. But if you just have partner hosting companies that are doing it, it kind of gives you that like ecosystem vibe of like, oh, there's other people whose businesses are invested in this and all that stuff. So
I think if Fideloper if he hadn't been scooped by Laravel Cloud, that would be a great partnership. That'd be a great duo. The Fideloper runs cloud hosting with the blessing of Statamic with some sort of business arrangement. Like, that's the dream right there.
This was a business idea I had some time ago, because like when we were starting to build our own hosting stuff, it's like basically every PHP app is sort of the same, right? And like there's at that point, 10 or 15 years ago, there was like a lot of PHP apps that people just sold, like a Statamic or how HelpSpot was or whatever. And it's like none of them had hosting. And it's like, well, maybe we should build the like generic, but not really generic, still like tailored to your PHP app, but hosting thing. But I didn't want to do the hosting either. So in that regard, I get it from Jack's perspective. Now it's probably too late to have that kind of like, in terms of building a business for that, maybe totally specifically. But there are still apps out there that need this stuff. And I don't know, maybe like Laravel Cloud will have some kind of story. Like it's not going to probably be specific for Statamic, or Statamic, or however you say it. But like maybe they have an API and you could kind of like make it work. Basically what we've done for HelpSpot, but all custom infrastructure. So you don't have to actually set up the server and all that stuff. It's just like maybe I can create a server with the API, and then I can go into it and install the stuff I need and put Statamic code on there, and get it configured at that next layer up without doing the base layer, and also without being responsible for like the server itself and everything. Securing it, and networking and all the stuff.
That's interesting.
So that could be kind of cool if they be kind of cool. Route. But there ends up being, it's tricky because like HelpSpot is a little more like Statamic than a regular SaaS app would be, in that like we let customers do weird stuff, just like he has customers doing weird stuff, whether it's plugins or messing with the file system or having your data stored on the file system or whatever. And there is like just a lot of customization. Like our cloud deployment stuff is not standard. Like there's all these exceptions and special cases, and we let the customers do all this weird stuff, and that means we have to handle all these other edge cases. And so it does get complicated rather quickly versus just your more straightforward sort of SaaS app. But I do agree that feels like there should be something there, even if it's just like a partnership maybe to start.
That's interesting about the Laravel Cloud thing. You could see that playing out many different ways, not just with Statamic. You could have, build
on the whole thing on top. potentially.
Yeah, you could build a WP Laravel, you could have your whole WordPress hosting on that. That's interesting.
Ooh, there you go. I think Taylor said they plan on eventually having an API, but it didn't sound like it was coming day one. So
yeah, and that's the other question is like, if you build out some sort of static white label thing on top of it, do they end up just adding a one button, like create a Laravel Cloud static deploy? It's like,
yeah,
maybe, possibly.
That's still different though, because at the end of the day, people are paying for like the service. You know what I mean? Like, to me, like the cloud hosting part is like, we're gonna also upgrade it for you. We're gonna make sure everything works right. Like these like push to deploy generic things are fine.
They're just kind of templates, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, okay, it works initially, but like, what about 2 years from now when
good luck, have
the whole
fun.
thing's different? Right? Yeah, they're not helping you with anything, right? There's no help. There's just like, yeah, you pushed that button 2 years ago. You're on your own after that. So kind of feel like that's not that big of a thing. And the real thing you're paying for is like the expertise and specialization of this platform, of this, for this product. And then also support around it when you have a problem, like somebody there who knows how it works and is willing to help you, which presumably Laravel Cloud wouldn't be willing to do that. So
here's the move. Jack. Reach out to Taylor and get early access to that API, man.
There you go.
Get early access to the API. Then you have some sort of command and control lightweight server that you guys run, the static crew runs, and you're continually, phoning Laravel Cloud and saying like, hey, what version of Static are these people on? All right, let's go ahead and, issue an update job and all of that kind of stuff. But they manage all the infrastructure, the routing, all of the servers, all of that stuff. That's the move.
How about this? Even if there's no API, I just love this hacky idea. I don't think you should actually do this, but you love a good hacky idea, right?
I love a good hacky idea. I built a wall in an office.
Exactly. So you do this little hosting platform on top of Laravel Cloud, right? And if they don't have an API, you just use like a Dusk-like thing, right? And you just go in there. You just build your own API where you're just hacking in there and pushing the buttons. Be like, okay,
browser
go to this div.
is the API.
Yes, the browser's API. Push the button, fill this form field in.
Yep.
There you go. Done.
Yep, that's the move for sure.
I like it. Nothing could go wrong there.
No, not at all. I like that. Good idea. We should save that for ourselves. We should do it in our spare time, Ian.
Yeah, we got lots of spare time.
Speaking of spare time, before we get to WordPress, you're doing a side project with Flux. What are you building? Hey, come on. Don't downplay. What are you building?
Nah, I don't know. I'm not going to have time to build anything. That's the thing. I get this ideas, and I'm like, okay, I'll make it happen. And then I realized that there's no time. So
you can't make anything happen. What are you gonna do?
You
got no time. You got no time. Tell me, what's the idea?
I don't want to say it until I at least do anything.
Didn't you have an idea a while back?
And I had another idea.
Oh, it's a great idea. Let's tell everyone except Aaron, so I can tell Aaron on the show. Go. And then nobody ever told me.
That idea was terrible. What? We're not doing that idea. No, it was a terrible idea. This idea is not. I don't even know if it's an idea. It's like, I'm not saying anything to anybody until I do like Laravel new. I haven't even done Laravel new.
Oh man, this is the duality of Ian. You are both business dad and a degenerate indie hacker. You're like, I got an idea. No, it's a terrible idea. I got an idea. No, it's a terrible idea.
Well, it's just that the real world always intrudes. So it's like for 2 seconds, I'm like, the real world doesn't exist, right? And I'm like, oh, this could be cool to build it. And then it's like, well, I have all these PR things I was looking at. I have the marketing stuff I'm trying to do. My parents are moving out of their house. I'm helping them. Like, I have all this stuff going on, kid in college, all this stuff. And I got hacked open 3 weeks ago, like all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't have any time. When do I have time? I have no time. And am I going to give up the like little bit of like recreational time I have to like hack on some code thing that's never going to make me any money and just
not with that attitude.
I know.
It's unbelievable. You're a no man. Your no man has invaded into your very core.
I will say, if I actually get anywhere on this, which is highly unlikely, I'm definitely going to talk about it on the show. It will be a thing I talk about on the show, and we will go through it, and it'll be a fun little adventure for us. But
you know what? We've had a few dead ends on the show. Chance. Why don't you just tell us now? No, and if it doesn't come to fruition, it doesn't come to fruition.
But that's Then here's the thing. if I say it out loud, right?
Yeah.
If I say it out loud, it's like one of these, like a horror movie, right? Like if I say it out loud, then it's real. Then I'll feel the obligation to work on it or do something with it. People are going to message me and say, that's a cool idea, you should do it. Then it becomes that whole thing. And I don't know if I'm ready for that thing. I do want to.
People are going to ask you, hey, Ian,
what's going on with that thing?
Hey, I would love to do it. And you're like, come on, man.
Whereas when I just say I have an idea, nobody ever follows up with me because they're like, whatever. Like, you're probably not doing it anyway. And I'm not doing it. I'm probably not doing it, right? I haven't the time to do it.
You should. Live a little, Ian.
If I could carve out a couple hours a week that I could work on it, then
you're the
I'm
boss.
going to do it.
Who do you have to ask?
There's still other priorities. That's the thing. I mean, I could do whatever I want, sure, but then like other stuff doesn't happen. And
but it's awesome to do whatever you want. It's so awesome.
There is so much weird stuff. We should have a whole episode on weird shit Ian does all day because the amount
I would love that episode. That's a hysterical episode.
Here's a sneak peek. I'll just give you one example. On Friday, Jamie, who like does the books in the company and like operation type stuff, my wife, she's been dealing with this thing for like weeks where a customer in Europe needs this form from the IRS that states that we are an American company in some fashion. And so you're already shaking your head, right?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
This has been like already a multi-week endeavor. I had to get on the phone with the IRS on Friday. Some crazy person at the IRS was asking me weird questions. I answered the weird question. You know, it's the whole also game. Jamie tries calling them. They're like, no, we got to talk to the owner. So she just puts me on. They say, are you the owner? I say, yes, I'm the owner. I could be anybody. I could literally be anybody, right? Fine. But I just say I'm the owner and that makes you the owner. Okay, great. And so we go through this whole dog and pony show for 20 minutes, answering questions, this thing. Then there's other form we got to fill out. That's got to go back to them. So there's a whole hour, right? Just on like one customer's need for this weirdo IRS form. That's a thing that has to be done every year.
Europeans,
every
man.
year. It's like crazy. So like is that every day there's like 4 of those things. And it's just like there's all this weird stuff when you have a company that's like this old with like all these diverse customers and
I got your answer. I got your answer. I'm ready to business dad the business dad.
Oh shit.
You gotta hire a Linda.
A Linda? But see, look, that's my point. That's not even like that. They needed to talk to me. Like Jamie was trying to deal with it. They couldn't deal with it. No. The IRS was like, we gotta talk to Ian Lansman.
They needed you to approve that they could talk to Jamie.
A male voice?
They did. Yeah.
No, she wanted to talk to me.
They needed a husband or father on the phone.
I need a Todd.
Yes, she's loud.
Yeah. He can pretend to be me.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, a lot of it is just stuff not like that. It's like not. I have like the employees do handle a lot of like day in day out stuff that's like stuff other people can handle. Like I do have employees already, but like there's just other ownery type things. Is it impossible to hand them off? Probably not, but I don't know. A lot of things feel like borderline impossible. Maybe not totally impossible. Obviously, at some point you get big enough, you just have a COO whose job it is to do all the weird stuff or whatever. Fine.
That's what you need. You need a Tom. You need a bulldog.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Tom. The Laravel Tom. But
Caleb has this book that he hasn't read called Buy Back Your Time. So maybe you should look at that book. You can borrow it from him.
I've bought back my time. I have 5 employees. Like they're out there, they're working. But like there's still just other weird stuff that goes on, man. It's a lot of weird stuff. But I agree. I want to build something. A lot of weird stuff. I don't know if it's going to happen. I have some other code stuff I still have to finish in some HelpSpot stuff so I can fully hand off a few other things to the new developer who's been getting on board here and everything. So that's another thing holding me up. I don't really want to have 2 code worlds going on. If I can get the HelpSpot stuff fully over to him, then I'll feel like, all right, if I want to have a little side adventure for like nights and weekends, 5 hours a week, and be fun for the show, and like I got already a little like idea for some stickers and stuff. I got some stuff. I got some ideas.
We got an idea for stickers. You gotta do it.
I got an idea for stickers. I already own the domain. Idea. It's basically domain-driven development. It's basically like I need an idea for Flux, right? I want to build something with Flux. So what domains do I have that I can work backwards into a product? And it's like, okay, I got it's really good domain. And that would be a cool product. It's sort of in my realm of expertise. So, we'll see.
That's a completely viable way to start a business is domain-driven development.
What could go wrong with that?
That's what the guy Peter Askew has done on Twitter. I think his handle is Searchbound. He's a domainer, and what he does is he finds good, like, solid domains, and then decides, like, to build a business around it. So he has, I think he bought Ranch Jobs. I think one of his big ones is Ranch Jobs, and he has a job board. His biggest one, I think, is Vidalia Onions, and he has they ship onion, like actual onions in the real world, not like NFTs or something. Like, they ship onions. I think he owned birthdayparties.com for a minute. But he's a good follow on Twitter. You should follow him. But he's always tweeting out interesting domain opportunities. One came up the other day that was hawaiianshirts.com, and I was like, am I doing this? Am I starting a Hawaiian shirt business? That seems awesome. It's viable. SEO, you can do it.
It's just an SEO play, because like the keyword being in the domain is extremely powerful for SEO. So if you can get the good domains, then that
when I got screencasting.com and he replied something like great domain, I was like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. This is it. Because the trick, of course, is being able to build something legit behind the amazing domain.
Right. You still need to deliver.
So, but if you can, you have a huge leg up because you have the .com. So tell us the domain. What's the domain? Tell us the domain.
That'll give away the whole product. No, can't do
killing me. It's like getting blood from a turnip over here. No, the audience hates it. They want to know.
No.
Yeah, except at some point you have to deliver on the suspense. Like the last one, it just died on the vine.
Yeah, I haven't delivered yet. I don't plan on delivering.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe I'll deliver. Who knows?
Okay,
I gotta get my parents moved. Imagine moving your parents.
I will not imagine that. I'm not imagining moving.
There's a lot going on. There's all this moving parts. My super glue just fell off this week. So my stitches, they don't have stitches anymore. They cut you open and they just super glue it together.
Lacking context. I got it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually do stitch you underneath, but on the surface, there's no stitches anymore. It's just super glue. And that fell off. That was nice.
Was that that was a big moment? So now you have a lot more time. Now you're a little bit more freed up.
Yeah,
you don't have to babysit the super glue so much anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm almost done with that whole phase of things. So
it's very minorly possible that one's just an excuse. Maybe that one's an excuse. No. So speaking of moving parents, I've made a decision that Steve and I are going to get super rich. That's like point number one.
And then I'm going to
buy one of the neighbors' houses.
You're going like Brandon Sanderson. You're doing a Sanderson, baby.
I don't know what that means.
Brandon Sanderson.
He's an author, right?
Yes, he's the biggest fantasy sci-fi author. He bought his neighbor's house. Yeah. And first they just owned it. And that was like where the corporate headquarters was.
Great.
And
love it already.
He got super rich and super famous and all this stuff. So he I think he tore down the house or whatever, something close to tearing it all down. And he dug down like 50 feet.
That's what I want to do.
He built a huge underground lair with a movie room and all this stuff as offices. And then I think they put a building on top still where the offices are for like the regular employees. I'm not sure about that. But he constructed his whole underground lair at the neighbor's lot. And it's connected, I think, to his house. So it's like a tunnel system. And
of course, gotta have it. Gotta have
there
a
tunnel.
There you go. That is okay. Literally exactly what I want to do. So the neighbor's house. So we live in a cul-de-sac because we live in the big city, right? So we live in a cul-de-sac,
suburbs, right?
And we have one neighbor that's higher on a hill, and then one neighbor that's lower on a hill. So either way, I'm good, right? So I could buy either one. And then I want to, at some point, level both houses, mine and the new one, obviously. And then I do want to I want to dig into the hill and build like a giant, maker space, hobby house, garage / like YouTube studio. Right. And then on top of it, it's just like green grass with maybe like a giant skylight and stuff. And then they have a little hobbit door, not like a small door, but like a door that's kind of in the hill. You know, so you walk out the back of the house and you see this gently sloping like lawn, but at one part of it there's like a double French door. and that leads into the space with all the 3D printers and the YouTube studio and everything. It's amazing. It's a great idea.
I love this idea. I mean, you're probably a little light on cash, I'm guessing. It's a big undertaking. You also got to get the approval, which you'll never get. But
you can't fathom how light on cash I am. Like, whatever you're thinking, divide it in half. I texted Steve on Sunday when I was thinking about this, and I said, man, we got to get super rich because I want to buy the neighbor's house and knock it down. And he was like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing, so let's do that. I was like, perfect. Glad we're on the same page. So it's a great idea.
You get the house on each side. You're at one side. He's at the other side. In the middle is the man cave studio, garage. Yeah, that's the Try Hard Studios corporate offices there in between.
I don't know what would be more difficult, buying 3 houses in our neighborhood or getting Steve to move from Boise to Dallas.
He's a Boise man. He likes it out there.
He's a Boise man. Yeah. He also has a child out there. So it's like going to be kind of hard to leave.
Maybe you move to Boise. How about that?
I think that might be even harder. We're not moving 4 kids to Boise away from all the grandparents and all our friends. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But building an underground lair might happen.
So good. I love a lair.
We got to make a lot of money, but it could happen. Why not? You know what, Ian? You know what? Rich people have no imagination. No imagination.
Many of them don't. That's why I love Sanderson, because he does.
Why are they not doing cool stuff like this?
Yes. They're just screwing shit up when you could just be doing, and they all do the same thing, like, oh, get a yacht. Everybody's got a yacht. What everybody doesn't have is an underground lair. Get an underground lair.
Like, this is something interesting. This is the you can just do things of being rich. So that's what needs to happen.
I don't know who's running Zuckerberg's PR or like who's gotten a hold of him, right? But did you see this photo he has now with like
the Porsches?
Yes, where he went to Porsche Porsche modifier.
Yep.
And made a minivan Porsche. Like, that's the kind of cool shit you should be doing if you have billions of dollars. Like, my wife wants a minivan. 100%. Let's make a minivan Porsche. Why not?
And I'm going to get a Porsche while I'm there just for giggles.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you got to have your own Porsche. But like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Do you think they drive anywhere? How do you drive anywhere if you're that rich?
I bet Priscilla does. Isn't that her name, Priscilla Zuckerberg?
I'm not sure. Could be.
I think she drives. I mean, nobody would get a custom Porsche minivan made just for like not driving, right?
Do you think you drive alone? Like, are you always followed by security?
Zuckerberg,
like you probably are.
I think
Zuckerberg.
I think the whole family,
the whole family has to be, right?
Have you ever seen Messi's Bodyguard? Like the compilation,
like an ex-Mossad guy or something. Dude. He's like,
and he's on the field in no time flat. When a kid runs on for a signature, he is out there. He does not care one bit about the rules of soccer or the league. He is on the field. It's awesome.
And Messi probably has a whole team, right? But it's like that's the point guy who's like his bodyguard, like with him on his body at all times.
The most terrifying man in the world. Yes. Yeah, of course they've got security. Yeah, they're followed everywhere. They've got security. And you know what? Maybe even Priscilla's not driving the minivan. Maybe she's riding in the back of the minivan, the Porsche minivan, but I don't know. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that billionaires should be doing. It's like, let's have a little imagination, for goodness sakes. Like, if I'm a billionaire, I'm buying 5,000 acres and I'm starting a city. I'm starting my own town. Well, like I'm terraforming, I'm making hills where there are no hills, I'm making creeks where there are no creeks, and I'm building like a walkable city from scratch. Of course, with cars underground. That's amazing.
Even short of that, it's like there's just basic stuff I don't understand why they don't do. Like if I was a billionaire, right? Like I would do some crazy cool shit in my hometown that I grew up in.
Yes.
Because this town could do some stuff. And like, maybe they like donate to the hospital or something, fine. But like putting your name in the hospital, that's fine. But like, what about Main Street? What about like all the stuff that everything is shitty all over the place? Like, why don't you fix all the shitty shit and like make sure the town government has infinite money and like whatever, like all that stuff. I don't understand why you would, if you're Jeff Bezos, why isn't your hometown like the greatest place ever? And it's like, this is why I like the Cloudflare guy, Matthew Prince. I don't know if he's done this with his hometown, but I know he lives in Park City, maybe permanently, or at least definitely in ski season. And like Park City has plenty of money, so I don't think he hasn't done anything on that front.
He's really helping out the people, isn't he?
But He bought the town newspaper. Park City newspaper was going under, and he
Okay.
bought it, and now he runs the newspaper and made it awesome.
I love it.
It's like he's
That's
got
great.
journalists, and they're writing stuff up, and they're doing things. It's like, yeah, that's cool. Like,
Yes.
give it money. Like, do some real stuff for the normal people.
Let's build libraries all over the country. Like, that's a cool idea.
Right? You can do that.
Billionaires, they used to be worse, but at least their whitewashing of their image was better. They would build libraries.
They did do a better job of that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yes. They would care about putting their name on stuff, which at least got you those big things. You got hospitals, you got Carnegie Mellon, you got whatever. You know, you got these universities and things. Now it's like they just hoard the money in a big pile and take out loans against it. And then they say they're going to give it away
when they're dead. Like, do something cool with it now. Who's the one that built all the libraries? Was that Carnegie or Vanderbilt? I think it was Carnegie.
I think it might have. Yeah, I think it was Carnegie.
Yeah, those robber barons, man.
Yeah, Vanderbilt built a bunch of things.
So cool.
Yeah. A robber baron, a corporate raider.
That's what you want to be. You want to be a corporate raider. Is it too late?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think if I can make enough money. This is why I can't get distracted on side projects. I got to make enough money to buy corporations.
So you can become a corporate raider.
Yeah. So I can be straight 80s. I want to fully realize myself as an 80s business Gordon Gekko guy.
Listen, I'll make you a deal. If you become a corporate raider, I'll watch the original Wall Street.
You got to watch it.
That's the bar. That's the bar.
Here's what we're going to do. This is the perfect way. Dave, producer Dave, got to cut in the 27-second clip of Gordon Gekko talking about liquid. Because that's perfect right here.
Talking about liquid?
Liquid. Go.
Tax bills. Wake up, will you, pal? If you're not inside, you are outside, okay? And I'm not talking about some $400,000 a year working Wall Street stiff, flying first class and being comfortable. I'm talking about liquid. Rich enough to have your own jet. Rich enough not to waste time. $50, $100 million, buddy. A player. Or nothing.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, I didn't hear it, so I have no idea.
But it's so good.
What an amazing clip. Wow.
It's so good.
I fully understand it now.
But this is the point. It totally ties in with what we're talking about here, which is he's giving a proposal to Charlie Sheen. Okay. And he's like, listen.
So are we doing the clip now?
Yeah.
The clip that the people just heard?
Yes.
Are you going to just basically rehash it?
I was going to tell you.
Okay, yeah, tell me.
So
this is good content.
He's basically saying to him, listen, you think you want to be like what you think rich is nothing. You think it's flying first class and it's being comfortable and having a nice house and buying your neighbor's house and putting your office in it, right? That's what you think rich is. He's not talking about rich. He's talking about liquid. Rich enough to have your own jet. Rich enough not to waste time. This is his quotes, right? Like that level of wealth. Corporate raider wealth. You're buying companies. You're buying, you're selling, all that stuff. That's what we're talking about here.
Sounds like a good clip. I should listen. I'll have to listen back to the episode.
It's ridiculous that you have not seen this movie. Should we go? We could cut this out and we could go listen to it now. Should we go listen to it now?
What, the movie?
No, just the 27 seconds.
No, I'm not doing that. We got to keep the vibe going. Here's the one I have seen. Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
No, that's
Shia LaBeouf.
Crap.
Great movie. Great movie.
I've never even watched
Harry
it.
Mulligan,
So
Shia LaBeouf,
ridiculous.
Josh Brolin. Great movie.
I do like
Josh Brolin is so cool.
Maybe I'll watch
unbelievable
it.
Cool.
I just literally couldn't bring myself to watch it because it's great. Shia LaBeouf is the wrong person to be in a movie with Gordon Gekko. It's everything
He's
about
awesome.
It totally wrong. That girl is totally wrong.
It's
the
great.
The whole thing's wrong.
I know. It's
all very bad. No,
it's a good movie.
Awesome. How can you watch that and not watch the original?
Oh, I've seen it so many times. It's such a great movie.
It's maybe it is a great movie. Maybe
I saw it in theaters, I think.
But the original is a truly great movie. It's a top 5 movie for me. Top 5.
No.
And you know I like movies.
No. The second one is good. The second one is good. You have to watch it.
I will check it out. Even though
maybe we'll make it. Maybe we'll make a pact that each of us will watch the other.
I'm willing to sign up for that. Let's do that.
I would do that.
Next week, movie review week.
That's I got a lot to do, man. I got some super glue that's about to fall off. I don't have time. I don't have time to be watching movies, man. I gotta babysit this super glue. No way. Here's what I can say. I am having an elective surgery in early November to make sure, and maybe while I'm in bed,
procreation. Yes.
Maybe while I'm in bed, I'll watch the first Wall Street. How about that?
Okay. That's not too far. And I'll watch the second one that week, and then we can when you're ready to go back on the mic, we can discuss.
Deal. Let's do that.
You also have to watch The Godfather that week. Let's just do it. Just do it, man.
Okay. I could watch The Godfather. I could watch The Godfather. I could do that.
But then that's just a straight movie review episode after that. We're going to have to go through it. It might be 2 or 3 episodes, to be honest with you. There's a lot to cover. We got a lot of things that apply to your life.
Don't worry, dear listener. I'm not doing 2 or 3 episodes on The Godfather. I'm sorry.
2 or 3 is the minimum.
I'll do a 10-minute bit segment, but I'm not doing 2 or 3 episodes on The Godfather.
10 minutes. We're not even gonna get through the opening scene in 10 minutes. There's so much stuff to cover.
That's up to you, but we're doing 10 minutes. It's a tight time box.
Oh man, no, but at least you'll be in the loop. So now we can discuss these business things you go through properly.
Have a shared language.
You'll have the right context, yes, and the shared language. You're out there just wandering around in the desert, man. You don't even know what you're doing because you don't have the base knowledge that these movies provide.
I'm a satisficer, and I'm satisfied with my movie knowledge.
See, no, that's the point. Is if you just had a 2-hour investment, you'll be satisfied in all the business knowledge you need. That's what I'm saying.
Other people are wasting. You used that correctly.
Literally, they're wasting 4 or 5 years to get MBAs.
I already did that.
You just watched these 2 things. I already got my
master's in accounting. I already wasted the time. I can't waste another 2
time
hours.
Wasted.
It's over.
Wait till you watch these movies.
Okay.
You're gonna be like, why did I waste those years? Wasted.
I already wonder why I wasted those years. I'm teaching databases. What does that have to do with being a CPA?
Man, I gotta start that Pop MBA podcast I want to do, man. Pop MBA. I even got the name. Pop MBA.
That's a great name.
MBA knowledge from the pop culture. It's all out there.
A fantastic name. I did see a devastating tweet. It looked like a New Yorker style comic. And it was 2 people talking, and he was like, yeah, my friend and I do a podcast about movies, but here's the catch. We also kind of joke around a little bit. It's like, shoot, that is
all the podcasts.
Yeah, I feel called out personally.
They're on to us here.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Spotsy, who create all the packages that you know and love for Laravel. But today, specifically, we're going to talk about Mail Coach. And Mail Coach is one of their paid offerings that is fantastic. It is a email sending platform. You can self-host it, so you can pull it into your Laravel application and host it yourself. Or you can use their hosted version with Mail Coach. You get all the stuff that you kind of expect out of a mail sending platform. You get automations, you get workflows, onboarding leads, drip campaigns, anything else. But you pay for what you send and not the size of your audience. So when you are massively successful and you get a ton of people on your email list, you don't pay to keep those people on your list month after month. You just pay for the stuff that you send. They are, of course, privacy first by design. The tracking is all optional. You can use their API to integrate it into your existing workflows, but they also have a visual interface where you can go write in Markdown or whatever else so that you can use that without having to write any code. You can visit mailcoach.app to register for a free trial, no credit card required. And for listeners of the podcast, you can use discount code Mostly Technical for 3 months free. We're super grateful to Spotsy for sponsoring the show and for all the work they do in open source. So go give Mail Coach a try at mailcoach.app. Okay, back to the show. All right, you want to do Clown Show?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
So here's my take on the WordPress drama.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Mullenweg has lost his mind.
I think he's actually lost his mind.
That might actually be true. But regardless, I have a few takes. One is everyone's conflating issues. So everybody's conflating, because Matt is conflating them, open source contributions with trademark disputes with infrastructure rights to WordPress.org, right?
Yeah.
So he's mad that WP Engine's not contributing to open source, which, hello, open source. You don't have to do freaking anything.
I mean, that's not even true. It's not even true, but even if it was true, you definitely don't have a responsibility.
Zero responsibility.
Legally. Yes.
Zero responsibility. So he's mad they're not doing that. And then everybody's like, well, if they contributed more, this trademark thing wouldn't be an issue. Completely separate, discrete, not even the same, not even a little bit. And then there's the whole WordPress.org, like, do you have a right to access this? And I think the answer is no. But if you're going to turn it off to flex the trademark thing, to flex the open source thing, I just feel like it's all bad. And final note, he doesn't understand how lawsuits work, apparently. Because when you are privy, or when you are party to a lawsuit, or you think you're about to be, you shut the hell up.
You would think so.
In a bold move, took the opposite course, which is like, I'm going to go win in the court of public opinion, which, in my opinion, is going to cause him to lose in the court of courts. That's my opinion.
I mean, maybe it's because he's post-economic, as he says, and so he doesn't worry about these things. I don't know. Like,
he should be building underground layers,
bizarre.
not like arguing with our original business dad on Twitter.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, man. The whole thing is weird. What else? I mean, it's so also like one of those very transparent, like, he wants the money and then got some pushback, and now he's like, well, it's because they don't contribute enough to open source. Like, this is just like after the fact, right? Trying to justify the shakedown. And no, I don't know. I just feel like not enough people are going to buy that in general to turn the community around. I just think if you're trying to get community support to be like, we all hate WordPress engine, or WP engine, not WordPress engine.
So confusing. You're gonna end up as an exhibit in the suit. You just called it WordPress engine.
This is like all the wrong way to go about it. I feel like there probably is a playbook where you could turn public sentiment against them with the right process, but she has not done any of. And then it goes on all these streaming shows, and like, they call him out. I have to say, Theo and Prime both did like pretty amazing interviews, which was kind of surprising, especially Theo. I wasn't really expecting him to really hold his beat to anything, but he did. So that was good. And I don't know, the whole thing is just bizarre. I don't know what he's doing. That's where it's like, I feel like he must just be having some kind of actual breakdown, or like
an episode,
automatics in like bad financial shape, because they did raise a bunch of money at an insane valuation, which they're never going to get close to. And maybe it's, they have 2,000 employees, he says, whatever. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, so
that is so many people.
$300 million doesn't go that far. 2,000, presumably many highly paid employees. And so maybe they're running a little tight on cash.
There are 2,000 employees. And just to make it average, let's say, what do you want to do? 125? Because they probably have employees all over the world.
I think it's more. I would say it's like I was thinking 200 just to make it.
I think 200 is probably the high end. But because they're globally distributed, we'll say 150,000.
All right. I think that these like VC backed companies, when they're out there hiring, I think they're making some expensive hires. But
2,000 people times $150,000.
Yeah.
Which is not fully loaded, by the way.
Well, I was gonna say, it's really 200,000. Even if you say the salary is average 150, it's 200.
So this is shooting low, because we have benefits, healthcare, insurance, all that.
Right.
$300 million.
There you go.
That's 300 million. That's it. That's game over. You lose.
I mean, they have revenues obviously and everything like that. So, but so it could be tight. It could be tight.
Man, they're paying $300 million in headcount, and I'm worried about selling like a $147 course. Like, what?
I really into those companies, man.
I gotta calibrate, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
A lot of money in the world. It's a lot of money in the world. That's just one company.
Huh. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. They're gonna lose. I mean, they're gonna lose.
I mean, WordPress, even like forever, for years and years, until like, I think it was like 10 years ago now, but before, when WordPress was, when WP Engine was being formed, using WP in company names and plugin names was what they said to do. That was the official thing. They said, don't use WordPress, use WP. So
Correct.
that's what everybody did. And that's why there's WP, XYZ, and all this stuff. And so I just think it's going to be a hard time to get them. I think there's so much, a zillion pages of prior art. Like every hosting company has WordPress hosting like page.
And like 10 years of non-enforcement.
Right. Or more. And like even when he's like, this is why you're not supposed to go talk on talk shows, but when he's on with Theo, he's like calling out Prometheus in a good way. He's like, see, they're good actors. And I wish they had gone the one extra step, because they only went to the Prometheus homepage, which is like, because they do other things besides WordPress. So it's not like WordPress. But one level deep, they have a WordPress hosting landing page that's WordPress. It says WordPress 57 times or whatever. And it's like, just like WP Engine, like all of them have the same exact thing. I don't know. And then we didn't even this hasn't even been talked about on the show anyway, even last week, was how in the last couple of days they've like done this crazy thing where they reported a vulnerability in the plugin that WP Engine runs.
Well,
and
they
then
cut
they locked them out of the access to update the plugin. Yeah,
then they find a vulnerability, disclose it, and then go on Twitter and tweet that there's a vulnerability, which is like bad form. You do not do that.
And you know that they went and like, all right, 5 people or 10 people go dig through this plugin until you find something that we can use against them. Like that's the obvious thing that happened, right? And
no matter how flimsy it is,
right, whatever it is, we need to justify. Yeah, who even knows, right? It's like maybe it's something not even bad. Maybe it's like you have to do 30 steps, and at the end of the day, you can like update one field, and it's not even a big deal, whatever. And now we just want to use it as this PR bashing against them, and he's out there saying everybody's going to be moving because of this security vulnerability. It's like freaking insanity. How is that
insanity
against the cease and desist? How is that not like the whole thing just seems
it might be
insane.
We're about to find out.
Wow,
I don't know.
It's wild.
It's crazy. Glad that's not my space.
It's not even like
glad it's not my area of the internet.
They're not going after you. But it's like, even if this was still owned by Jason Cohen and it was like a smaller operation in a sense, maybe it makes some sense. Like, whatever, we're just going to bowl over them. But you're going after a private equity firm with $100 billion. Like, you're never going to bowl over them. Like, they have infinite money.
It's going to be such a show.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's going to be so fun.
You can't bully them. They have all the money in the world. They'll just put lawyers on this forever and ever and ever. So, I don't know. The whole thing is crazy. Like, they could literally sue you out of business. Like, you're the one who's the small fry taking on this Goliath on like a made-up issue with made-up stuff for no reason. Like,
it's great content. It
is great content. It's very entertaining. But
I'm excited to see what stupid thing he does next.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know. It's kind of sad. It's like starting to move over for me to sad. Like, if he's really just having some kind of breakdown.
You think he's actually not well?
Yeah, like if he's just legit not well,
that would be real sad.
Then it's sad. You're just watching this person like break down in real time, and that I don't like. If it turns out he's like just thinks this is a good idea, then fine.
Yeah, self-inflicted stupid is funny, but like if he's not well, that's not very funny.
He's starting to make all these. I don't know. It seems unwell. It seems like we've approached unwellness for some of the insane things. But
somebody on Hacker News was like, Matt, I'm saying this with all the love in my heart. Do you have carbon monoxide poisoning? Like, you need to check. You need to check your space because the things you're saying don't make sense.
Right. It's like nonsensical. Yeah. Oh, that'd be something if it was something like that.
Dude, that'd be crazy. Yeah. That's going to be my ultimate out for anything. If I do something extremely stupid, I'd be like, oh man, must have been carbon monoxide poisoning. my bad, guys.
That's how I use my gallbladder. Anything but pre-gallbladder, I can't be held responsible for anything pre-gallbladder. Yeah, I was not.
All right, you want to do designers white on white on white?
So
I've already
heard.
You've never said it out loud, but I've already heard it in your voice. So I don't need to hear this segment. I've already heard this segment. I read the tweet and I thought, yep, that sounds about right. So give us the pain.
So we use GitHub issues, right? Okay. And I like GitHub issues. It's you got the PRs, it's all integrated, whatever. Great. It's not very good on the project management front. Like, they have a board thing now. It doesn't work very well. Like, you add something, it doesn't know what to do with it. You have to it makes an issue, but it doesn't automatically make an issue. Like, whatever. It's all kinds of weird stuff. It doesn't work very well is the unfortunate aspect there. So, like, all right, let's do something else. So we were playing with linear, as one does in the modern era, right?
Yep.
You're a developer, you got to go to where the hotness is. Okay, the hotness is linear. Let's go check that out.
You've been following Dax too closely. You've been Dax spilled.
Does he like the linear? I thought he doesn't like the linear. Or does he like the linear?
Yeah, it's the only thing in the world that he likes. Literally the only thing he likes besides SST is linear.
But those guys are all caught up in like, well, it's like all magic speed and stuff, and I don't care about any of that.
I know.
You can give me a button and a reloading thing, and I can see the browser reload, and I'll be totally fine. I don't care. So, and it's fine. We're probably going to stick with it. It's good enough. It's got like the main thing that a lot of these other tools don't have is like the multiple levels. So you can have like a project, and then you can have you have a team, and then you have a project, and you have issues. So you can have things at different.
So they invented
heights.
Folders. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Invented folders. Yes.
Good for them.
Nobody else has that. Fine. Good. I like that. But every screen is just white with like light gray text and no differentiating between anything. If you go in any of the settings, it's just like buttons and text all the same color. You have to read through everything every time because you can't. There's nowhere for your eye to go. There's no colored buttons. There's no boxes. There's nothing. It's
all
white
border gray 50, BG gray 50.
You can't find where anything is. It's unnavigable. It's crazy. And like this is not even linear, right? This is like everybody is just building apps this way now. And it's like, I like the cleanness. It's great. But at the same time, like it has to do the thing you want it to do. And when I have to look at the like I was in like the importing screen, and there's like, you want to be careful. Like I don't want to hit the wrong thing.
No, you don't
call out the wrong thing. What I'm doing more precisely. Give me some separation between things. Give me some colors. Give me some warnings. It's got none of that stuff. It's just like, here's white and gray, and read through everything every time you go back to the screen because who knows what this button does. You got very cautious. And this is just the world that the designers live in now. And it's like, it's infected to me from like all designers who are just making templates, right? That were always not real, which always very annoying to me. It's like, oh, look at the beautiful layout for the CRM. Yes, but there's no information on the screen. And anybody who has a CRM wants maximum information.
All it is like 3 charts at the top, which you're not gonna have 3 charts at the top. You just want information density, and then below it are like avatars that are like 300 pixels wide, so you can see the latest 3 users that signed up. And you're like, this looks gorgeous. It is unusable.
It's unusable. I mean, especially when it's like a CRM or something. Look at the picture of your customer. Who the fuck has a picture of their customer?
Who cares?
No, yes. First of all, you shouldn't care. Second of all, it's bad to probably even have it there.
It's like so bad. Yeah.
Also, you don't have it anyway. Nobody in the real world has a picture of their customer.
Yep.
So, like, why is it taking up a quarter of the screen, this giant picture of the customer in this template? It's so dumb. So now those designers have infected real applications where it's like, let's just make it all full of white space and no data. And
$300,000 to work on a button for a week. Yeah.
It's so infuriating. And it's like, I know, you just know none of them have ever sat down and with anybody using the product and watched somebody use the product and be like, oh, they can't find that button for the 3rd time in a row. That's probably because that button shouldn't be white on the white background. It should probably have some kind of color to it. But they don't do that. So that's my beef. That's my beef. You know, all these people are getting fired, right? They're all getting fired. That day is coming. They're getting fired soon. And so my advice was to the ones who want to not get fired, learn how to do this a little bit better and not just make it look nice. Because someday when they run out of money, they're going to be like, oh, we don't want it to just look nice. We want it to work nice. And when that day comes, you want to be the one who knows how to make it work nice. So you're saying
they're all getting fired because the money's dried up? Is that it?
I'm saying that's where stuff's heading, right? Like, I mean, same with WordPress, right? Everybody raised all this money at ridiculous valuations. And the day of reckoning is coming. How can you have 50 designers on one application? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
it makes no sense to me.
All these businesses run with 1 designer, 2 designers. That's the real world, not 50.
Are you calling for a return to maximalism? You saying minimalism is over?
Could be. Maybe. I hope so. I like maximalist apps.
I do too. Give me the most information dense screen possible. I want to see everything.
Everything.
I want a heads up display that shows me the entire empire. That's what I want.
And here's the thing. If you go outside of tech bubble world, right, where people are willing to put up with apps that look nice over function nice, right? If you leave that world, every other app is nothing like that and is full of data density. That's what every single other app is, right? It's like you go to some account payable system, it's loaded. It's too much density probably, but it's like 8,000 fields, right? And it's like columns and data. Oh, how about a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet is the ultimate in density. It's like literally just boxes of information. Here you go, as many as we can fit on the screen.
And the Microsoft Excel ribbon, has 400 buttons visible on the ribbon only.
Yes. And then in the menu, there's 4,000 other things, right? There's just stuff everywhere because people want to access the stuff. We don't want to go 40 layers deep or have to click next 70 times to see all the information. We want it all in one place. Give it to me in a big long list. So what's linear isn't too bad on that front, I will say. In terms of the actual issues, it's like, okay, they're willing to give me a big long list and they're small and tight, and okay, that part I like. So yeah, I don't know. But I feel like if you look at Salesforce, if you look at any of it, like any real application,
I'm not looking at Salesforce. I'm not doing that.
Customers, none of them are white on white boxes where you can't differentiate between different areas and functionality. None of them are like it's all white space with one little box in the middle of the feature. Real businesses and business people want data that they can access and use and utilize. That's what we're going for.
It was worth it. It was so worth it.
Don't get fired. Be the one who knows how the app works. What people are trying to do. This is where
add a little bit of color, y'all. Add some color to the designs.
You could probably do it without color, right? Like maybe with just black and white, you could do it. I don't know, but like there's still ways to like separate things and have areas and not just let everything meld together into an amorphous blob of whiteness and text. There has to be horizontal lines. I don't know. This way, little drawn arrow things that you show or whatever.
Oh, a little hand drawn arrow guy. Are you?
Hand drawn arrow. I like a hand drawn arrow.
You would be laughed out of a design conference at this point in history for suggesting a little cute hand-drawn arrow. They would say, get out of here. Imposter. There's no way.
Did you see the Notion stole the face of the Obsidian?
I saw a little bit of drama about that. The Obsidian Capano or something is his name. Something. Yeah, they like stole his line-drawn avatar or something like that.
That's kind of weird.
Who knows?
I don't think they actually stole it, but it is weird. Like you have this competitor and you're using the same exact face as them.
Notion. Don't get it. Don't get it. Don't care to get it. Yeah. Anything else on white?
I think we covered it. I don't know. What's your thoughts? We didn't get your take on it. Are you a white on white man, or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm also not a proper designer, so that would explain that. I feel the same way. I like the clean, sleek designs. I haven't used linear. But I do agree that like the white background with and then the stuff that's offset is BG gray 50. It's like, oh, am I 35? Because I can barely see the differentiation there. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't feel it quite as in my bones as you do, but
I hit one too many of them. You know, it's just like you hit one too many, it just sends you over the edge. You're like, can we just have some? Give me something. Give me a little separation.
Well, the
people
pendulum
with the money
will swing.
Are not 20. We got to cater to us old people who are trying to buy your software.
That's right. The pendulum will swing. We'll get back to maximalism, skeuomorphic, whatever.
Skeuomorphic. Oh,
yeah, give me some leather stitching. That's what I want.
Give me a leather desktop surface. That's what I'm talking about. You're telling me
this is a notebook? I know it's a notebook. It's got leather. It's stitched. I know that I'm supposed to take my notes in here. That much is obvious.
Yellow. Give me a nice yellow with some lines. Man. That's what
we had it good. About. If only we had known. If only we had known.
I did like that. I did like that iPhone era. That was a good era.
It was a good era. So, you know what happens 1 week from tomorrow?
1 week from tomorrow. Do I have any way to actually know this, or no? Would I be?
Yes, you have. Totally you have many ways.
Oh, I know. Postgres course.
Woo-hoo! 1 week from tomorrow. That's not very many days.
Good thing Deathly Ill was perfect timing for your deathly illness.
Man, yes. Yeah.
So how's it going? So did you catch up post deathly illness? Okay.
I think so. It's all a mental game. It's just so difficult, man. So I think I'm caught up. I'm not as I wish I was done, but I'm not. But what I have left is doable. So that's good.
That's good.
There were many times Steve and I were on the phone and we were like, are we going to like, do we have to push this thing? And it would be fine to push it, but we publicly committed to October 15th. We have the, Zeta. We've told Zeta it's coming October 15th. And then if you push too far, suddenly you're into November and nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't like that. You don't want to be like in mid-November launching something. That seems bad.
Not even a little bit. So it was touch and go there for a minute. But last week I cranked out, last week I probably cranked out 30 videos.
Wow.
Yeah, after being dead on Monday. So it was I'm recording all day, going home, putting the kids to bed, coming back up here, recording at night, recording on Saturday afternoon because it's nap time. I'm up here. So I probably have 20 or 30 more that I want to do this week, which will bring us to, it's gotta be 80 or 90 for launch.
Holy cow.
Is enormous. And then after launch, there's a lot more I got to do. Like there are entire modules that I'll have to do after launch once we'll be in an early access period for a little while. It's enormous. It is by far the biggest, most in-depth course that I have done, and it is just destroying me. It's awful.
You should survey like the landscape out there, because I just feel like that's even like a whole marketing angle. Like this is the most in-depth video Postgres course there is. Like I feel like it has to be. Like
I think that is true, and I'm fine saying that until proven wrong. Because I'm very
forget the
confident.
research.
Yeah,
just say it is. And I think just video courses I've taken, or even like Laracast and stuff. It's like a big one. It's like wow, there's 20 videos, and they're like things like that. Like 90 is insane.
It's insane. It's insane. But it's turning out really good, and it's fun because Steve is kind of like the ideal buyer on this, because Steve has used Postgres for a long time, so he's familiar. He's a developer, but he's not like a database guy. He's just like a full stack developer, and so I'm getting the feedback from him as he's watching through and editing them of like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh, I just learned that. Oh, this is cool. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is good news. This is going to work. People are going to like this. So yeah, it's brutal.
Are you doing, I hope you're not doing, after this, you're going to have to do like, you have some more videos you wanted to do for SQLite, I think. Obviously, it's going to probably be more Postgres videos. And then you're not going to do anything after this, I hope, for a while.
No. So no more courses for a little while. No more courses that I am the instructor for.
Right.
There's a 95% chance we produce a SQLite Rails course, but I will not be the instructor for it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So I've, been talking with this guy who's extremely smart and talented, and I think we're going to do the SQLite Rails kind of under the try-hard / high performance SQLite umbrella, but without me as the instructor. And so that'll be a test, not a test, like an experiment. It'll be an experiment to see how well that does. So that'll be fun. But yeah, after this, November and December are going to be dedicated to doing just some fun stuff, a little bit of silliness. So there are going to be some things we do in November and December that you're like, Aaron, that's a terrible idea. And I'm aware of that, and I'm optimizing for fun a little bit.
Nice.
But still content, viable business, that sort of thing, but not like what is the most ruthless thing I could do, because the most ruthless thing I could do is probably immediately start on either MySQL, Redis, or SQL Server, something like that. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah. I have a counterpoint for you here.
Okay.
In addition to your fun, your summer fun Postgres release course, I think you should put in 5 hours a week for marketing the SQLite course or the Postgres course.
Yes, definitely.
I think that would be a good idea. Like because you have stuff you'll be like, Black Friday sale,
Yes,
Cyber
for
Monday,
sure.
do all that stuff. New Year's, right? Do a just relaunch all the relaunch points you're supposed to relaunch these things at, and just keep chipping away at, like, building up their sustainable business
Agreed.
potential.
Not even a counterpoint. That is a yes and, because
okay.
the bulk of the creative energy is going to go towards these fun silly things, but the time spent working is going to be on how do we turn this, what we have now, into like a viable long-term business.
Yeah.
And I'm optimistic. I'm extremely optimistic, especially as we get Postgres out there. I think our ability to do like outbound sales goes way up. Like there are big companies with lots of people using Postgres, and so our ability to, we've already in fact looked at through the domains of people that signed up for the waiting list, and it's like, oh shoot, we got to call these people. These are big companies, man. And so doing stuff like that, I think, is going to be so fun, because hopefully it's, it will be work, but it's a different kind of work. I'm not going to be in here, recording for 12 hours a day, but money is going to come out on the other end. All the recording is like speculative. It's like, I think this is going to work. I think this will make money in a month from now. But if we can nail like a cold outbound sales, or maybe not even cold, if it's warm because people sign up, we can just land and expand. It'll be interesting. I need to go back and listen to the episode that we did with Jeffrey Way, because we talked about this. Do you remember when he was like, I've got people that signed up from Disney? I can just look at their domain and it says Disney.
He's never actually done it.
But he's never talked to anybody. And I'm like, ooh, I'm Jeffrey now. I need to go listen for that advice, because that's what I need to do. So it's going to be a big relief.
If a partner angle for you too would be, it's just popped in my head. It's like, so like obviously like the Postgres in our world, it's like, okay, the Postgres is like the businessy real platform people are using. SQLite is a little bit more of a newcomer, kind of individual devs are working with it, but it's not like you're having company meetings around your SQLite usage and like whatever. You don't have a SQLite team and whatever.
Most likely not, correct.
There is a world where that is true of SQLite, and that's mobile, because every mobile app uses SQLite as its database, and there's a lot of those.
A great point.
So I wonder if there could be somebody to do a SQLite for mobile version of the course, or even just selling it into that market the way it is. I don't recall if it's like, might be a little too much other stuff in there, but it's a lot of mobile devs, a lot of mobile apps. They're all using SQLite
for React Native.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
You hate it. I got the most waffly
I just don't know. I don't know enough about it to know if you want to limit it to that, or if it's like just SQLite for mobile and like there's a React Native angle. But there's also like whatever the Apple framework thing is, or
Swift.
whatever, Swift and whatever the hell Android uses. Like,
who knows?
I don't know. But
interesting.
I just think it seems
That's
like
a great
huge
idea.
market, like, because every single mobile app, SQLite is the database.
Correct.
So,
fantastic idea, Ian.
Seems like that's a market, and that's in production. People are really using it. People are hitting problems. People are hitting performance issues.
So here's my charge to the dear listener. Hit me up with a yo dog if you think you know someone who could do a course, who could be an instructor on a course for either SQLite for React Native, or SQLite for Swift, or SQLite for mobile as kind of an umbrella. Because I'm super willing to entertain that as an adjunct course, because I do think the flagship adjunct is a good model. So you have the flagship course on SQLite, and then the adjunct on Rails, mobile, whatever, Laravel eventually.
Variations,
yeah.
It's kind of nice because you've done all the core research, right? So then it's like easier to hand off to somebody to be like, okay, like now, just you're updating examples, and obviously there's going to be specific things for those platforms that might need to be tweaked, but kind of you have the core element. Now you can just make these variations. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I like this. I need to find an instructor. And I think, I don't know, but I think our deal with the instructors is basically going to be, hey, you fly to us for a week, or we'll fly to you for a week, and we're going to do this thing up. Like, we're going to do this thing up right. It's not going to be, hey, why don't you use your crappy webcam in your basement, and we'll just like try to put a little shine on it. That's not the way we work.
I like that.
So Yeah, I think we're trying to do something a little bit different there.
Yeah, I think keeping the quality really high to your guys' standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think you could send them like a kit? Could you just have a kit that you send people and it's like everything you need? It's like a good camera, it's a tripod, it's mics, it's whatever. Or you think
Possibly.
it's lights, or is it gonna be too much on the setup?
I think it's gonna be too much. The middle ground would be Steve flies to you for a day and sets up your space.
Yeah.
And then you can ship it all back to us later.
Yeah. That might be interesting.
That might be doable. But
because I can see it taking more than a week, right? Like sometimes.
Well, that's the other benefit of that model is like we would have to work for a month or two ahead of time to get everything, like all the really videos, ready. All the modules, all the content squared away, such that when I arrive or when Steve and I arrive, it's set up, record. Yeah. That's it. Right. And I think there's something like Jeffrey has said many times publicly that the hardest part about guest instructors is getting them to finish their course. And like, I get that. I feel that. And so that kind of like time boxing seems nice. That's to me. Because I imagine most of these people have full-time jobs. And if it's like, hey, just do it when you can, I don't know if it'll ever get done.
Yeah. If it's like, you got to take a week off work, we're going to come out there. We're going to be with you. Everybody's motivated and cheering each other on and getting it done. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So that's the plan. But yeah, November, December, gonna be a little bit of silly season. We're gonna do a physical product. So brace yourself.
What is it? Tell us what your physical product is, Aaron.
No.
Come on.
These turntables do not turn. No, sir. That is not how it works. I'm actually going to do it. And so we need to save the big reveal for when I actually do it.
Okay.
But
all right,
you'll know it. You'll know it when you see it.
Big, small?
Small.
Is it electronic?
It's not electronic, and it's not apparel yet. We're gonna do apparel one day, but it's not apparel yet.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not just like slapping a logo on a direct to garment printer and saying buy our stuff.
This isn't like something you can get off Printful or something like that. No, you're going to construct this or have it constructed to your specifications or whatever. Okay.
This is not an API call, third party deliver. Right. This is Aaron, for better or worse. Aaron's
definitely worse.
Definitely worse. Aaron's gonna get the tools out. Aaron's gonna do something stupid. Yeah.
Well, that part's fun. See, that part's not the bad part. The bad part is like boxing and shipping and all that. Yeah. That's the bad part.
There is, of course, a possibility that we make, provided it works, we make a ton of them and ship them in bulk to a third-party logistics company.
Right.
There's one called Slingshot that I know the founders of, and they're fantastic. And so maybe, if we sell more than 100, and it's like, I'm boxing 20 of these things a day, game over.
Yeah,
I'm making as many as I can, and I'm shipping them to Georgia, and they're going to fulfill them out of there. So
I did stickers ones for Lara Jobs. Huge mistake.
Huge mistake.
Nobody even knows how to write their own address. It's all a disaster. Okay. So do you have a workshop at the new house?
I have a garage. I don't have like a workshop.
Okay. That's where you're going to build this stuff?
Probably. Yeah.
So it's not a limited run. You're not saying I'm only making 100. You're just maybe orders.
Maybe I'll start as a limited run just to like cap my downside, my time downside.
I think it's kind of cool. People like having the V1 too. It's like, I had the V1.
True. Yeah, we're doing a limited run then. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like you can have V2 that's like maybe you change it, of course, a little bit with some feedback, but also that's like V2 that's distinct from the collector's item.
You know what?
V1.
Honestly, I bet I do 90% of this manufacturing in my former neighbor's garage.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to where I used to live and go to my neighbor's house where I built the shed, and I'm going to use he's got a proper wood shop in his garage.
So it's wood. Which
one component of it is.
Still. Interesting.
Yeah.
The hell is this?
And then if this works, here's the ultimate plan. If this works, we'll probably rent this apartment for one more year. So the lease is up in like January, February or something. So as long as the fire marshal doesn't come in here and is like, you built a wall, you got to tear down the wall. We'll rent it for one more year. And then hopefully after that we can rent like a super cheap light industrial. We can rent like a 2,000 square foot with a roll-up door, turn it into like a YouTube studio, because part of the problem is like we want to change backgrounds for different courses, and we can't do that. But if the backgrounds are on wheels and we've got a big old warehouse, we can just kind of roll stuff around. Do my light manufacturing in the corner. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. People have no imagination anymore. You gotta rent a light industrial warehouse.
I just don't like where they are. You end up being like a crappy part of towns, no food, whatever. Like maybe you can find just the right spot that's like not too far off the beaten path. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, would be pretty cool.
Is this all right? One more hint.
Yeah.
Over or under $100?
Under.
Okay. Handmade by Aaron himself. Get it in time to put it in your stockings.
Get it in time for the new year. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right. Do we want to open up any sort of competition for people to guess and win a prize?
Sure. If you guess what it is, I can't give you one for free because unlike software, there's actual costs here. If you guess, I will give you some sort of massive discount on the first run. So if you guess what it is, maybe I'll give you like 50% off, and you can decide to buy one or not if you want. But if you get it right, I'll give you a coupon code.
I mean, it's less than $100. So here's what I say: I will buy you one for free.
Wow.
So if somebody guesses,
magnanimous.
One person gets one. If multiple people guess,
that's fine.
Then it goes into
Ian will buy one. Ian will buy one. I'll buy one. So the first two people that get it right, you'll get one for free. I like that. I was thinking, if a bunch of people guess, I'm going to be broke. All right, first two people. Mostly technical at gmail.com.
Mostly technical podcast at gmail.com.
Don't
you want them to do it public though? You want them to do it private or public?
I don't want them to. You don't want to
spoil?
I don't want them to spoil it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mostly technical podcast at gmail.com. Send in your guesses. First two to guess correctly. This way we have a date and time and all that. That's nice.
Yeah.
So first two to guess correctly get one free.
And we'll read some of the guesses out on the show, because I bet there are going to be a lot of wrong guesses.
And that's going to be fun.
We can't reveal. I'm not going to reveal the right guess until the time is come. But we'll read out some wrong guesses, or right, who knows, on the show.
That's true. We could mix in the right one. That would be fun. If there is a right one out there. All right, so we know it's partially wooden. It's going to cost less than $100. Aaron can build it himself.
Correct.
It doesn't sound like it's physically huge, so it's relatively small. I think those are the hints we have. So
and you'll probably want it in time for the new year, probably.
And he's been very specific, not Christmas, New Year's. So this is something New Year's ish related. I think I have a guess, actually. I'm not gonna say. Don't say. Okay. All right. Great.
There you go.
I'm gonna enter my own contest. All right. I want to touch on this one last thing quick that you made a stir on the internet while you were sick. So your wife leaves you cute Post-it notes.
The best.
It's adorbs.
Just the
adorbs,
best.
as me and my daughter would say.
It's just the best. I've got one right here next to the camera. I've got one taped in my car next to like the shifter. Just got notes everywhere, man. It's just the best.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of notes. My wife has done the note thing. Often if there's like some reason I have a lunch or something like that, she has snuck in the note into the lunch.
We do love that
type of thing. Or I think once on a trip, like she put it in my bag or whatever. But yeah, you're getting a lot of notes. This is
getting a lot of notes. They especially come. Yeah, I need a lot of encouragement. They especially come around, times of great trial, and so being gone before they're like last week. Last week was the week I was sick. The week before, I left the house so early that the coffee shop that I go to wasn't open yet.
Right. Nobody's seen you. You're just there.
And so I'm out of the house at 5:30, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go to Starbucks because it's the only one that's open. Yep. Come up here, record all day, then go home, and then I come back up to the office to record more. And so that's when I'm getting the notes that are like, thank you for all your hard work. It's gonna work. Like, you're doing great, that kind of stuff. And the one that's in my car, I think, was the day I was going in for my discectomy, my micro discectomy, when I had the slit herniated disc many years ago.
Okay.
And it was just a note like on my I think it was like on my keys or my insurance card when I woke up that morning, and it was just like, you can do it, I love you so much, and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it's staying in the car, man, I gotta keep that in the car. We love it. We love a note.
Love a note. That stuff, it does work too. It's very encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It does boost you up.
It
So that
does.
was cool. The internet seemed torn, maybe? I don't know. I think they were all right with it overall.
I think it was 70-30. I think a lot of guys were like, yep, I get him too. Changes my life. Couldn't do anything without him. And some guys were like, oh, the only ones I ever get are like, honey, make sure you do this stupid thing. And I'm like, oh, it sucks, man. Sorry.
Too bad for you.
Yeah, it sucks to suck.
Yeah.
But I understand it's not that meaningful for some guys, so it doesn't super matter. My wife also buys me flowers from time to time. It's great. I love it. I know.
Interesting.
It's great.
You buy her flowers?
Of course.
I don't know if my wife's ever bought me flowers. I don't think
That's
so.
great. I love flowers.
She does make, like, she'll make food items or buy food items that I enjoy. That's like, that's kind of more up my alley.
Yeah, that counts.
I would say, than the flowers. All right. I think that's the show. It's a wrap.
Let's wrap
it. Thanks everybody for listening. Good for us to both be on here together. We'll see if we can do it again next week. Check us out, mostlytechnical.com, at mostlytechpod on Twitter, and mostlytechnicalpodcast@gmail.com. Especially this week, send in your guesses. We will read them out on the show, some of them anyway, next week. And we'll see you later. Thanks, guys.